here think that they know more about these people than they know about themselves.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And by the way, you know, this has nothing to do with a well-funded evil money machine that the Republicans were doing. There's something called boys and girls, and
Rubin's
they are
the right
different.
guy to talk about
and
that, isn't he?
Most parents, oh God, you're such a smug prick.
In this video, David Pakman and Dave Rubin joined the panel on Piers Morgan Uncensored. David Pakman personally attacks Dave Rubin while the trans issue is being debated, and Dave Rubin strikes back. With that, let's watch Dave Rubin mop the floor with smug a-hole David Pakman.
Also a trans woman. Brianna, welcome to Uncensored. I can't think of anyone better qualified, given you're the only trans member of the panel now, to respond to what our two liberal friends are saying.
I'll be trans if it'll give me a chance to talk.
You've had so many shows.
There's something
on trans
actually
people,
there. There's something there, Dave.
It's always some gay person that's talking on our behalf. So I'm really excited today to talk about how everyone here is wrong. Yeah, David, I love your show. I consider you a friend.
I can't be wrong.
You and the Democrats are completely wrong about what trans people need. We don't need you advocating for, trans vaginoplasties in prison. We need to retreat back to the basics of what we need, which is HRT and healthcare. And the problem is the Democrats have been captured by this fringe left that has redefined what trans means to all this non-binary nonsense and all this stuff that has nothing to do with how we got our rights in the first place. Ben, you can appreciate this. I was the first trans person to ever transition at Ole Miss, our alma mater. That was very, very different. It was 20 years ago, toddy. And the thing is, the way I got equality and got people to respect me in Mississippi was not by screaming at them or lecturing them about my pronouns. It was getting them to see my humanity.
You got that, David Pakman? The trans community does not need you as their advocate, advocating for surgeries in high school and prison or kids, whatever the hell you're think you're white knighting for. And I agree with Brianna Wu here that the folks that are pushing for the extreme things that the trans community wants, like everything I just mentioned, grooming kids and all that stuff, it is a small but loud fringe of the left wing. I do believe that. The problem is the left is so desperate and so pathetic that they won't distance themselves from that small group. The right has people that are extreme. About neo-Nazis and white nationalists. I mean, we don't say, hey, they're still part of the right, so let's fight for their rights. We say we don't want anything to do with them. But the left won't do that. It's like they're kind of like a dog with a bone. They know this is a stupid issue, and but they won't let it go, and they'll always argue in favor of the most evil things that has to do with trans. When I say evil things, I'm just talking about before someone's 18, pressuring them or allowing them to get surgery, any of that stuff. Gender-affirming care, which isn't even a real thing. If you're over 18, live your life. Do what you want. I think you have mental illness, but that's not my business. Anyway, like I said, I do think it's a fringe group. But let's get back to the video. We haven't gotten to the good stuff, and I promise there's good stuff to come. Let's get back to the video.
This is something trans people have just completely lost. And the problem is the Democratic Party is unwilling to call out these bad actors. And because of this, we are having a conversation that does not serve trans people. Piers, I am begging you on this show, stop inviting the stupidest leftists on to make the argument for trans civil rights. Let some people actually understand this stuff. And Dave is laughing because you understand integration as a gay man. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You've done the same playbook your whole career.
Well,
this works. This is
how you got
I'm
gay only gay. I'm only gay starting at 10 p.m. What time is it? We'll have to check on that. But actually, you're completely right. Brianna, you're completely right. What's happening with the left is that these saviors, these progressive warriors that you see in these boxes here, think that they know more about these people than they know about themselves.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And by the way, this has nothing to do with a well-funded evil money machine that the Republicans were doing. There's something called boys and girls, and
Rubin's
they are
the right
different.
guy to talk about that, isn't he?
most parents, oh God, you're such a smug prick. Listen, most parents actually want to defend their daughters and don't want them to have the crap kicked out of them by boys, and they don't want them to be playing boys in soccer or any of these other things. That is a defense of girls. If someone, as an adult, 18, 21, we can discuss the age, wants to dress how they want, have any surgeries, take whatever drugs, do whatever they want with their body, most people, even Republicans.
I didn't see that we have two insufferable losers on this panel. That Brian Tyler Cohen fruits there too. If you've listened to this channel at all, you're probably sick of me saying it in many different ways, but I have to say it one more time. David Pakman is a giant sack of shit. He attacked Dave Rubin over the Tenet Media deal where, I don't mean to explain this to you if you're already aware of it, but for anybody who isn't aware of it, Dave Rubin, Tim Pool, Lauren Chen were among the names of people that were being, I guess, managed or paid by Tenet Media. And they found out that it was like a nameless, faceless, a couple of Russian guys that were funding it with tons of money. And they've been criticized and everything, meaning Dave Rubin and other people I named. However, it's clear in court documents that they had no knowledge of this, where that money was coming from. We can get into a whole different conversation about, should they have asked. But David Pakman insulting Dave Rubin there, whether you like Dave Rubin or not, I personally do. And even if I didn't like him, if David Pakman's attacking you, then I'm on your side, because he's such a loser and he has no argument, because he knows that he's one of the people that Brianna Wu's talking about here, one of these trans white knights. And she's saying, we don't need you. She goes, stop having these people on your show. And friggin' David Pakman, Brian Tyler Cohen at least has the sense to shut his mouth, but David Pakman keeps interrupting. If I talk any longer right now, I'm just going to keep insulting David Pakman. So let's get back to the video.
Don't object to that. And I have no problem referring to Brianna as she, because I can clearly sense she would treat me with respect and I'll treat her with respect. And it's a two-way street rather than pandering and bowing to a bunch of people that could not give a crap about anybody else.
Yeah, and David, hang on, let me bring in David Pakman again, because you were very quick when I asked how you felt about being so wrong about this, to accuse me of being misleading, disinformation, misconstruing a United Nations report. So because we're a very nimble team here, while you were talking, they just went and double checked, because I was curious what you were talking about. And we found the United Nations report. And it's not a footnote, as you said, it's page 5 of the report. It says, and I quote, the United Nations says nearly 900 biological females have fallen short of the podium because they were beaten out by trans athletes. The findings were compiled by the UN's Rapporteur on Violence Against Women, entitled Violence Against Women and Girls in Sport. The report said more than 600 athletes didn't medal in more than 400 competitions in 29 different sports, totaling over 890 medals. The replacement of the female sports category with a mixed sex category has resulted in an increasing number of female athletes losing opportunities, including medals, when competing against males, the report said. So, David, again, would you like to now apologize for being not only wrong about this being an election issue?
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
But being wrong about your correction when I asked you if you were sorry for being wrong.
Look at the underlying source, Piers. I have it printed out
it was
in the other room.
It wasn't a
Look
footnote.
at the
It's page
underlying
5.
source.
It's page
now,
5.
I do want to say one thing about this. I actually agree with a lot of what Brianna and what Dave Rubin said. I actually agree with it. I am not the savior here to do X, Y, or Z for trans people. What I'm saying is I don't actually think I even need to play that role. I don't think this is the issue that maybe you think I believe it to be. So I agree with a lot of what Dave Rubin and Brianna said there. I do think it's important to consider that when Dave Rubin talks about well-funded this or that, his Russian money source just dried up, and he's the last person who should be talking about funding sources. And to be honest, Dave, hold on a second. Hold on. Now Ben's jumping. Everybody's jumping. Hold on a second. I can't even hear Ben. Why would Ben jump in? I'm not even addressing Ben.
Hang on.
That Brian and I passed
you made it.
Why would Ben jump in and you're not addressing him? Pakman, you loser. You mean like you did when Dave Rubin was talking? Did you hear Pakman say, I don't need to play that role? Then why do you all the time, you friggin' loser? Sorry, I used loser twice. I'll mix up my insults better. The thing that made me bust a gut laughing in this video is a very quick moment, but when David Pakman told Piers that he was guilty of misinformation, can you believe that? David Pakman accusing anyone of misinformation? Final thing I'll say, I've seen this clip before in its totality, and what they're talking about with that UN report is David Pakman said that the information about, trans athletes taking medals away, a significant number of medals away from women, David Pakman said that that's just a footnote in there. And as you saw, Piers read it. It was a very significant part of the UN report. So David Pakman's wrong, and he pushes right past that to try to start insulting Dave Rubin again, because he has nothing. But this is another thing that makes me want to pull every strand of hair in my head out is, so Piers Morgan corrects David Pakman. He can never concede an inch. He's flat out wrong about what he said. So when Piers Morgan reads him that line, he says, what was the source? What was the source? He always has another level to go to try to cover up his lie or blame it on something else. I can't stand him. But we want to hear from you. What do you guys think about this trans debate with Dave Rubin and David Loser Pakman? Let us know. Anyway, as always, we really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.